So I bought these AMD CPUs and some AMD stock. I also shorted its largest competitor, Intel.
I think I'm gonna short Intel. I almost did it yesterday, but I kind of felt like it was gonna have a move up today. I'm gonna short a very small block of Intel. And
I decided to short Intel stock based on the fact that AMD is basically my bet on the future. Having said that though, that's not the reason the stock fell.
I actually didn't even pay attention to what the earnings results were. I fell asleep.
The stock actually fell based on supplier related concerns. Intel was unable to meet all of its obligations in regards to supply. I got my thesis wrong about why Intel stock would actually fall.
This was the final gain I made for the day. As you can see, I own 0 shares now. I covered the position after hours because it was just a bad reminder with Netflix. I was up quite a bit after hours and I didn't close my position. In my case, it was a 7% gain with 7% loss in the price of Intel stock. $10,000 made me $623. Overall, I was pretty happy with the result, and that's it for that.
I just want all of the money. Do you know what I said? I gotta get the dinero, the cash, and the bread. Money. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm down to do the money.
I picked up 300 AMD yesterday. I'm gonna hold that because I'm gonna short Intel today. AMD's gone up quite a bit. AMD's announcing earnings, I think, next week. I can't make up my mind yet. I'm either gonna keep AMD as a hedge for Intel, or I might sell AMD because I've already made money on it and I think it's gonna sell off a little bit before earnings. Okay, fuck it. I'm selling it. Basically, what I picked up yesterday is going to get sold.
This week, I saw an opportunity to day trade AMD. It was 1970. I will always buy it that low and I'll try to sell it a couple days later. It's a great stock and I will continue to day trade this as well as hold this in my portfolio. They're announcing earnings this week, by the way. I'm not 100% certain if I'm going to buy it for another day trade or not. It could come off a little bit, but the bottom line is it's a great name, and I love the stock. I love the product. It looks like my brokerage is showing that I've actually lost money on the trade. Let me explain to you what's happening. The numbers that you'll see on the screen are always the cost average. So it's actually cost averaging the stock that I picked up at $24 a share as well as the stock that I picked up at $19.79, which is why you're seeing it as a loss, because it looks like my cost basis is higher than the actual shares that I ended up selling. By the way, if you guys want to see a more detailed video explaining cost basis and tax lots, leave a comment.
So let's take a look. DIA made about $412. I'm just gonna sell it. What the? So out of the loop today. What is the deal here? Just gonna sell this right now.
So the other trade I wanted to quickly show you, the ticker is DIA, which is an ETF that is basically the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So based on the price of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, this ETF will fluctuate. I will trade this periodically if I don't feel like trading SPY or QQQ. I bought this week just to change things up a little bit. I made $420 or so, somewhere in that ballpark range. Overall, it was a great trade.
I picked up some Netflix last night. It dropped as low as 320. Right now it's 327. I'm gonna get rid of that position.
Last week I shorted Netflix. I forget how many shares I shorted Netflix. It doesn't matter. I made some money on Netflix, not much. Enough to pay for basically a year's subscription. Anyway, the account that you see here before you on this screen, I bought it around $321. And I only bought 10 shares and nothing that big. I traded it off the very following day or a couple days later. I can't keep track of the timeline. It was roughly $65 that I made from the trade.
But let me get rid of Netflix. I like to be very nimble on this one. I picked up a very small bit. Let's go ahead and sell. So I made some money there. And yeah, just the goal right now is to be nimble.
Normally, I don't talk too much about this upcoming week's market. Having said all of this, I have two big earning announcements for this week. Both of them are big for my portfolio, one being AMD, of course, because I keep talking about AMD. They're announcing earnings this week, so it's going to be a pretty sick week for me. I hope the news is good. So I'm not that nervous. Chances are I'm not going to be trading this one before earnings or placing a bet because my position is already pretty large. The next thing is Apple. Earnings for Apple will be Tuesday after market close. We'll see how that does. I don't know how I'm going to position myself based on Apple, and here's what I mean by that. Apple is actually going to affect the overall market. The entire market basically is affected by their earnings and their revenues. So not only do they have a heavy weight on the Dow, they make a large percentage of the Dow itself, but keep in mind, Apple buys products from so many other tech companies that are listed on the stock market. How am I going to position myself when it comes to Apple stock? One of a few things, right? I'm actually thinking potentially to reduce my exposure to Apple. I'm not sure if I'm going to do this, and don't quote me on this. I might actually do the exact opposite, whereas I'm willing to gamble that Apple is going to do better than expected. And quite frankly, I think I'm leaning towards the latter. The only reason I would consider selling Apple is because I have, my 401k accounts, my long-term retirement accounts, and a variety of longer-term based investing strategies, based on the price of the S&P, the price of the overall market. Apple's going to affect the price of all of that. So in some ways, selling some Apple or shorting Apple in a different account to protect you from some of the downside. Having said all of this, I think what I'm going to end up doing, don't quote me on this, I don't know yet, I'll make a decision probably Tuesday. If the price stays right where it closed on Friday, I would maybe take a consideration into buying for myself, not for you guys. Please do your own research. I might buy another 100 shares going into earnings. Wish me luck this week, guys, and I'll catch up with all of you soon.
You guys, I am so proud of myself because this is the first time in a long time that I have finally cleared Micron out of my trading logs. Money.